board, and water is up by 6.80%. The latest figures, according to the PURC, is as a result of the full implementation of the automatic adjustment formula. Factors that influence the automatic adjustment formula include price of crude oil on the international market, the cedi to dollar exchange rate, the rate of inflation, amongst others. Earlier on, the big story, some energy experts and consumer rights advocates spoke on the hikes. We'll bring you that one later on, but the Director of Policy and Research at the African Center for Energy Policy, John Peter Amewu, says the PURC should consider industries in arriving at the automatic adjustment formula. Reacting to the announcement of tariff hikes expected in 2014, Peter Amewu suggested increment over a long period instead of quarterly adjustment. He spoke on the big story.
Suggests that it could be done, based on a long-term marginal cost pricing rather than a short-term, automatic adjustment as we'll be witnessing. Well, the automatic adjustment is just an indication that certain price indexes within the belt have changed. Okay, and so what that means is that if you're able to estimate that over 1 year period, you could at the same time be able to fix the price 2 times in a year. There is nothing wrong about that. It can be done. You only need to be very clear on your realistic estimation. If you're able to get that figure, it can easily be done rather than, constant adjustment mentally or every 3 months or whatever it is. That will save a lot of inconveniences to the industry. Is going to suffer, and as much as the industry suffer, the multiplier effect in terms of employment, productivity would eventually also fall. So as much as we are critical of increasing tariffs in terms of our utility, we should try to look into the need of the industry also, which is very critical, so that they are not affected so much in terms of their level of productivity.
Now, the Chief Executive of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito, says consumers would not be better off under the implementation of the automatic adjustment formula announced by the PURC today. He said the PURC is unable to sanction utility companies for inefficient and poor services, therefore leaving consumers at the receiving end of the poor service.
I agree with the fact that we have to do it every quarterly. Unfortunately, if we're going to review these things every quarterly, then I would say that salaries and wages of workers should also be adjusted every quarterly. Look, there's something called ability to pay.
Right.
This idea that somebody sits in his or her office and thinks because he has the mandate, because his job is to look and adjust, that does not mean that you have to do it. We are in a country that basically, you see, it's unfortunate like Ghanaians are not as angry as other countries around us. You remember a few years ago in Nigeria, when the government decided to take away the subsidy on the fuel, what happened? People took to the streets. Unfortunately, it looks like Ghanaians, we don't even want to fight for causes that matters to us. So obviously, the utility, I would say, for maybe within 4 or 5 months, has been increased over close to 90%.
Exactly.
Because the last time was 78.9 and plus 9%. We are looking about close to 90%.
Right.
Excuse my French. Which product in the world is increased by 90% in